author of Greater Thoughts, is also a motivational speaker and a mind coach, helping you to untrap your mind. In order to elevate your team, your organization, or your business, visit Robert Collins on theuntrappedmind.com or follow him on Instagram at Greater7Thoughts. That's greater, the number 7 thoughts. Robert Collins says, all success starts with a thought. Now turn that thought into action and go be great.
The noise of positivity reign. Each step I take, I conquer fear and pain. Greater thoughts echo through my mind. Uplifted I soar, leaving shadows behind. Each word I speak, transforming my fate. In this untrapped mind, I am truly great.
Good morning. It is your host, Mr. RC. You have just tuned into the Greater Thoughts Morning Show. You know, it's another week that I'm going to tell you, my gratitude is with you. My gratitude is bubbling over right now, y'all. I'm just excited. I've had a wonderful start to 2026. I have been in some rooms, man. Let me tell you, God is just opening up doors for me. I'm going to just speak it because it's the truth. And I'm hoping that while you're listening to me, you have the thought process that God is opening up doors for you too. I just want you to know that, man, hold on, I gotta just stop for a moment. I was at a MLK luncheon at a Friendship Baptist Church here in Charlotte, and a lady was speaking, and she gonna be on my show for Black History Month, so I'll mention her to you guys later. But the lady that helped put the event on, her name is Miss Carlenia Ivory Canty. She was talking about being in a school, and there was a teacher that was homeless, and she had a child. And what come to find out, you know, and I'm gonna try to make this long story short because I could take the whole 30 minutes talking about this. But the young lady was homeless, and she came to school in what Miss Carlenia described as bedroom slippers, and was coming into school to work. Long story shorter, Miss Carlenia made some calls to some people and pointed out that this lady needed some help, and they were able to get her some help through CMS schools and through the contacts that Miss Carlenia used. But in that, the young lady was able to receive housing, some clothes, and a refrigerator full of food. Well, while at this event, Ms. Carlenia spoke about it and gave some shout outs to a couple of people that were in the room for being philanthropists, you know, for helping out. And I want to say that by the end of the MLK luncheon, there were more people that came up to say that I want to attach to this mission of helping this young lady, to the point that they have now gotten her 1 year worth of rent paid, along with a financial literacy course, along with clothing and things of that nature for her and her son. Let me tell you guys, you know, it's sometimes hard to think when we're in that spot that how is it that everything is working for my good for those that believe in the Lord. And I challenged myself at that time to think, if I was her, if I was in that position, if I was in that spot where I'm homeless with my child or with my children, some of you that's listening have children. If you were homeless with your child or your children, and you sleeping on the floor and you coming to work, just being able to figure it out, just to try to get to a check to pay to have a place to stay because you don't have a full residence anymore, that I could see how that's working for my good. How is it that my child being homeless right now is working for my good? But let me tell you something. When you guys stay rooted and grounded in what the Lord is doing in your life, and you ask him to continue to direct your path. See, sometimes directing your path is not just, you know, giving you the $250,000 job, giving you the $1 million home. Sometimes it's just putting you in the path where the right person gets to see you. The right person gets to speak to you. You get to speak to the right person. Somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody is going to be at your fingertips, and you had no clue that you were going to shake hands with them. But that was the blessing that was coming your way. And so all things work for the good. And so I'm just talking about, that's such a wonderful thing to be in the presence of seeing so many people. That lady wasn't even in the event, but just to be present in the event where so many people were stepping up to say, hey, I want to be involved. I want to help. You know, listen, y'all, I talk about gratitude every single Thursday. I tell you that my gratitude is with you. And so I want you to today, right now, start speaking some things that you're grateful for. And I want you to not just speak of things that you're grateful for in the sense that you can see them, you can touch them. You know, you have life, you have breath in your body. But I want you to start speaking the gratitude over the things that you cannot see with your natural eye. You know, the field bank account, whatever field bank account looks like to you. The happy home, whatever a happy home looks like to you. I didn't say a happy house, I said a happy home, y'all. Some of us live in houses, but there's no happiness. Some of us drive cars that we're unhappy that we're driving, but thank God we have those four wheels to get us from A to B. And so I just want to just talk about some gratitude to start off 2026. See, we almost at the end of the first month of 2026, and we're about to go into what they call the shortest month of the year. And, you know, most of us do call it the shortest month of the year because it's 28 days, maybe 29. But it's the month of the year where so much knowledge is bestowed upon us, especially as people of color. What I mean by that is we're about to enter Black History Month, and I have a good lineup for you guys for next month as well. We're gonna start off with Mr. Cedric Thomas. He's gonna be the first week of February, and he's done some big things. But one of the biggest things that he's done has to do with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And speaking of that, real quick, I'm so tired of people saying Martin Luther King Jr. Man, y'all put some respect on his name. That's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know they had that little thing. I'm pulling up on you. Put some respect on my name. Listen, put some respect on his name. It is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That man has done a lot. He did a lot, I should say, and he deserves every bit of respect that goes along with the name that he earned. Now, I just want to just go into gratitude for a minute. I'm thankful for my mother. I'm thankful for my father, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, the children that God has lended me, the beautiful wife that I have. And I need you guys speaking about the people in your life. See, I'm stuck on gratitude for a moment, so just let me go in, y'all. Y'all need to start speaking about the lives of the people that you have around you, your friends, your associates. Sometimes associates become friends. Sometimes friends become associates. Sometimes friends leave your life. But you know, that's a whole nother story about how far does a person have to go with you before they are a friend or before they are no longer a friend, and were they just an associate in the beginning. But listen, what I'm saying to you is speak life into what it is you see in the person. For example, you see something that is not becoming of a person. When you speak about them, speak that they've overcome that thing and see them that way. See them that way. That's the one thing about writing your gratitude. When you write your gratitude down, it allows you to see it. The visualization of it is so important. When you get two people on that same page, so I'm speaking to those that are in a relationship or have a closer, let me go ahead, a relationship in any form. It could be a spouse, it could be a friendship, it could be anything where you are in a close relationship when the two of you guys get together and start seeing something into its completion. And I don't mean that you see it with your natural eyes. I'm saying you can visualize it. You can speak about it, the business, and you can paint that picture. When you see it, you can see that it's in a blue building. You can see that the signage is white with, fluorescent outline into your letters of your building. You can see the inside, and the floors are marble. Or if you like hardwood, you have hardwood floors. If you like me, I think about a bathroom, and you can have heated marble floors in your bathroom. I like heated floors. So when we talk about the business, you can see the different offices. You can talk about your window in the business, and in your office, how that's just a single pane glass instead of multiple panes of the glass. I want you seeing it. So the things that you desire in life, go ahead and paint that vivid picture. Speak it, write it down, and then move in the manner that you're already showing gratitude because it's already yours. I'm going to say that again. Move in the gratitude manner because it's already yours. When you start speaking that way, you start thinking that way, the emotion and the vibration in you increases. It increases. And I just want to share that as far as when I talk about gratitude. And see, I had a title for the episode today, and it's going to be called Taking the Lid Off. So I'm going to tell y'all a little story real fast, give you a little something to think about. So you have a pot on the stove, and I'm thinking of this as I speak, y'all. This is off the dome. You have a pot, and you start off with just turning the stove on. You put the pot on the stove, and before you get the pot on the stove, you have to get something out the cabinet. It's called the ingredients. You get all the ingredients out the cabinet. Once you get all the ingredients out, your next step is to figure out what you're going to do with the ingredients. You have to figure out how you're going to blend them, mix them. So now you have your green peppers, you have your onions, you have your celery, you have your garlic, and you go through a process of breaking it all down, chopping, dicing, mincing, so on and so forth. You take that, and now you sit over to the side. Then you prepare your meat that you're gonna use, your protein, as they like to say in the restaurants. You get your protein together. So now you get your protein. Let's just say we're going with some chicken or some shrimp. I like both of those quite a bit, or even maybe some nice fish. You get a salmon or some orange roughy or some halibut. Some nice good fish. And then you get your pepper out. You get your seasoned salt out. Hey, some of y'all stay away from the salt, but you get your seasoning salt out. You get all the different ingredients that you're gonna use: your turmeric, your poultry seasoning, your lemon pepper, your Old Bay, your Tony Cacheries, or however you pronounce that name. I've been told I've been saying it wrong, but it's all right. But you get all your seasonings out, and then you season that meat. And then what you do is you mix it all together and you put it in the pot. But what you do is you put it in the pot and you cover the top. You put the top on the pot. What I'm talking about is you have a beautiful recipe. That recipe is in that pot. Now, you have your meat getting cooked. And when you look through the glass of that pot, you see all of it seeming to come together. And as it comes together, all you can do is see it. It's just a visual for you. But what has to happen is, before anybody in the house knows what's going on, you got to take the top off that pot. The moment you take the top off that pot, that aroma gets to traveling through the entire house, through the entire building, through wherever you are. And then that's when the magic starts being made. So I want to relate that to you in your life. You've been going to school. You've been studying. You've seen people do it. You've watched people do it. You've now gotten to the point where you are trying. See that word trying? See, I'm going to talk about that word real fast. You're trying, meaning that you're giving yourself an out. I don't want you to give yourself an out. When the moment you say you're trying, you're already giving yourself an out. And I just want you guys to know that the only people that said that they tried stuff are the people that didn't complete anything or didn't complete a thing. So we're not trying, all right? So you are now at the point where you have worked everything together, but you still got the top on. People do not know who you are, where you are, or what you're doing because you have the top on. You have the lid stifling your growth. And if you notice earlier, I said it was a glass top. You could see inside of it. Don't allow yourself to be trapped by the glass top. I'll say that again. Don't allow yourself to be trapped by the glass top. People need to smell your fragrance. That's good. People need to smell your fragrance. That fragrance is only released once you take the top off the pot. What I'm telling you is to get out of your own way and share what it is that you have with the rest of the world. When you take the top off the pot, now the fragrance is out. Well, if you're in the room with 2 people, if you're in the house with 20, the moment the top comes off the pot, everybody smells it and wants to know what's going on in the kitchen. Well, what's going on with you in your life? That's what I'm asking you today. What's going on with you in your life? Where are you and where are you looking to go? And are you taking the top off so that your fragrance can be smelled so that people can attach to you and help you take where you're looking to go and get there? And so when I say take the top off, I'm telling you to stop closing yourself in. Stop looking at things as in a situation that you can't succeed. You are built to be successful. You are built to be a leader. You are built to teach kids. You are put here to help other adults. Your story was not to stay inside the pot. Nobody will ever know how good the recipe was if you never take the top off the pot and put it on a plate for somebody to try. And see, what I do know is that no matter who you are or where you are, when you put all your effort into it and you keep going, even when it seems like the heat on the pot is turning up and you wondering why the meat is starting to change colors, it's because of the work that's being done. And the work that's being done inside of you has now come to a point where it's time for you to take the top off the pot. I'm going to keep talking about that. You got to take the top off. Are you afraid? Because the fear is what I find that strangles so many. Are you afraid to take the top off the pot because you're afraid that somebody might say your food is not good? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you something that I've been teaching my kids, and I heard this from Tony Covington a while back. If you're not familiar, he had a great episode, ex-NFL player from Tampa Bay and some other places he played. You can go back and find out more about his story. Look up the episode with Tony Covington. But he said, Rob, we don't lose, we learn. And so what I'm telling you is, if you don't take the top off the pot, you'll never find out if people love your aroma, but not just your aroma, they love your food. That means when I say the food, I'm talking about what it is that you bring into the table. You know, what it is that you're bringing to the table is so important. It's not just having you in the room. Just having you in the room is good. because you got to start somewhere. And that's when you take the top off the pot and the aroma comes out. That's you coming into the room. But now, when you open the pot up and grab a fork and some spoons and start plating that dish, now you in the room letting people know that I have something for you. And when you share it, believe me, they're going to love it. I'm telling you right now, they're going to love what it is that you have to share, because it took time. You had to let the water get hot. It had to boil. That was refining you. Then you had to turn the pot down, had to let it simmer. That was letting all of the juices and everything from your green peppers and your onions, AKA your studying, your paying attention, your research, letting those things come together. And as they marry and all that gets to go into, all that juice gets into the meat, now it's changing the meat and making it tender. Now you have come to the point where you're refining your story. You're refining what it is that you're bringing to the table. As you go through that refining process, you will now have some lessons to learn. But guess what? As your recipe goes, your recipe could only get better. Because see, sometimes we have to remember that this is just the first time of me doing something. But what I will do is I will keep showing up. I will not stop showing up. I pull the top off the pot today, but when I pull the pot off the top tomorrow, it's going to be just a little bit better. And so that's the learning that we all go through. And I want you to just to keep this in mind when whoever this is, somebody right now is saying, man, this show was for me. I don't know where Rob went from gratitude into taking the top off the pot, but this show was for me. There's some things that I want to do. There's some things that I desire to do. There's some things that I was afraid to do. There were some things that I allowed my environment to shut down. There's some things that I really was intentional about for a while, but I set them to the side because of other responsibilities coming into my life, i.e. husband, i.e. wife, i.e. taking care of a parent, i.e. children. There's some things that came into my life that I allowed to derail me, but I am going to start back where I left off, and I'm going to continue to turn the eye down and let the food simmer. So get my knowledge back up. Start researching again, because things have changed since the last time you touched this. But that's okay. It doesn't mean that because things have changed that you cannot pick up where you left off and get ready to take the top off the pot. I want you guys to stop moving in a mindset that I'm not capable because time has passed. No, that's not the truth. That's not what we're speaking. And so what I want you to do today is take time to visualize, because I started off with visualizing and talking about how all things are for your good. You have lessons that you've learned. There are many lessons that you learned in the time since you diced up the onions. You pureed the garlic. You know, that was the beginning of it, saying, man, this is something I'm really interested in. Let me go and just watch a couple of videos. This is something that I'm really interested in. Let me go and try my hand and just play one game. This is something I'm really interested in. Let me go and share my thoughts with a friend. You know, regardless of what or how they received it, it was something that was within you. And sometimes, and I'm going to go ahead and say this because somebody else needs to hear this. Sometimes you cannot let one hand know what the other hand is doing. That's almost a moment of silence. You cannot let one hand know what the other hand is doing, because let me tell you, sometimes the things that you're thinking, that you're looking to put together, somebody else is not prepared for it. Their mindset isn't ready to go where you're looking to take yourself. Even if they're going to receive the blessings of it too. Because they're not you. God didn't give it to them. God gave it to you. And sometimes, and I'm saying to you guys, sometimes it could be your mother. It could be your father. For some of you that are older, it could be your child. It could be your spouse that you just sharing with them your vision and your dream, and they don't see it, and so they say, well, I don't know about that. Well, I don't know if that should be done. You don't need them to tell you. You just sit back and work. Be found working, y'all. Be found working. Like that young lady I told a story of in the beginning of the episode. She was found working. Faith without works is dead. You have to be found working. It doesn't mean you have to be found working hard. It doesn't mean that you need to be doing back-breaking work to be found working, but you need to be working. And so when I say that to you is that God gave it to you. So be in the mindset that I'm gonna be found working toward what it is that I desire as I get ready to take the lid off. Because when that aroma comes out, everybody wants to know what you're doing. And when the blessings come, everybody wants to be attached to your blessing. But everybody is not always ready for your blessing that you have. And so listen, what they say, you can't take everybody with you. Sometimes you just need to sit people to the side for a moment. You don't need to cut them off. You just need to sit them to the side for a moment because you have something that you need to do. And allows yourself to come out of the negative thought process that I can't do it anymore, that I should have done it a long time ago, but now it's too late. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. I'm going to tell you right now that there's a lot more in you that you haven't let out, and it's time to take the top off. It's time to take the top off. It's time for you to open up your mind to completion of a thing. You know what that thing is, not me, but you know what it is. Take the top off. If it's starting a business, if it's selling cologne, if it's starting a business, teaching students that are in areas where they don't have that access to mentors, you be the mentor. Look, sometimes taking the top off starts with just teaching or helping or educating one person. Let me say that again. Sometimes taking the top off is so that just that one person in the house can eat and tell you, ooh, it was good. Because that's where your confidence grows. So next time you feed it to 2 people. So now you have 3. And then those 3 each bring back a person. Now you have 6 people. And see, what we're doing is we're multiplying. We're growing through multiplication. And before you know it, the top is off and you feeding the whole community. And before you know it, your feeding goes from a one person to a community, to a city, to a state, to the world. And so, when I think about this past month and Dr. King, and I think about how he influenced so many people, and myself included, being a young black man, and especially growing up in a time where, let me just say it this way, I was out of high school when cell phones became popular. So there was no cell phones when I was in high school. You had a beeper. But what happened is as a youth, we paid more attention, I want to say, or it was more for you to sit and watch and pay attention to the civil rights activists of the 40s, 50s, 60s, and things of that nature, which is, I'm a 70s baby. So you gotta remember that today you're gonna take the top off. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take the top off. If you don't do anything else with your day, I want you to go and write down something that you visualized in your life, and then see it in a vivid way. Allow your imagination to run, because inside your pot could be whatever it is you want. But when you take the top off, that aroma is going to be seen, smelled, and you will be blessed. So before I leave you, I must remind you, all success starts with a thought. Take your thoughts, turn them into action, and go be great. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday as we start off Black History Month.
In the silence of the night, when doubt creeps in, I hear that whispering voice pulling me from within. The weight of the world tries to break my soul, but I rise from the ashes, determined and whole. With every step